You help everyone. You avoid conflict. You try to be a good person. And somehow, people still respect you. They ignore you, use you, replace you. Because nobody tells you this truth. Being too nice is often a form of weakness, and the world can feel it instantly, not consciously, but psychologically. Because beneath every act of excessive niceness, there is usually one hidden message. Please don't reject me. And as soon as people feel that, their respect for you begins to fade. From a young age, we are programmed with similar beliefs. Be polite. Be agreeable. Be accommodating. Don't upset people. Don't make others uncomfortable. And if you do all of that, people will appreciate you. They'll respect you. But real life teaches a different lesson, because people don't respect self-sacrifice. They respect self-possession. There's a dangerous misconception that many people never realize. They confuse kindness with submission. They believe staying silent makes them mature. They think constantly apologizing makes them humble. They assume saying yes to everything makes them likable. But often, none of that comes from strength. It comes from fear. Fear of confrontation. Fear of rejection. Fear of being disliked. And fear always leaks. You hear it in their hesitant voice. You see it in the nervous smile. You feel it in the constant need to explain yourself. The tragedy is, many men spend years believing they are being good, when in reality, they are simply afraid to take up space. But here's where it gets darker. The problem isn't just that people notice this behavior, it's that they react to it, even when they don't realize they're doing it. Because human psychology is constantly scanning for one thing: strength or weakness. And this is exactly why people can feel neediness long before you ever say a word. Neediness is invisible. You can't see it. You can't touch it. And yet, everyone feels it. Human beings are incredibly sensitive to emotional energy. We subconsciously read desperation. We sense insecurity. We detect emotional dependence. And when someone constantly seeks approval, their behavior sends one silent message: my worth depends on how you see me. That message instantly changes how people perceive you, because respect is built on emotional stability, not emotional dependency. Think about it. Why is it that the person who tries the hardest often gets ignored? Why does the man who overgives often feel overlooked? Why does chasing attention usually push people further away? Because desperation lowers perceived value. The more you need validation, the less valuable you appear. People are naturally drawn toward emotional certainty, toward those who are grounded, centered, secure within themselves, not those who constantly need reassurance to feel whole. And once people sense that neediness, something subtle begins to happen. The dynamic shifts. The balance changes. Without a single conversation, without a single warning, your value starts to drop in their mind. And that's when kindness quietly turns into something dangerous. Permission. Permission to take. Permission to expect. Permission to use. And if you've ever wondered why this keeps happening to you, the next part explains everything. Why nice men get used. There's a pattern that repeats itself everywhere. The man who always says yes becomes expected. The man who is always available becomes ordinary. The man who gives endlessly eventually becomes invisible. At first, people appreciate your generosity, your patience, your loyalty, your willingness to show up. But over time, appreciation turns into expectation, and expectation turns into entitlement. This is human psychology. People value what feels scarce, not what feels unlimited. When your attention is always accessible, it loses weight. When your time has no boundaries, it loses importance. When your standards are absent, your presence loses significance. And slowly, without realizing it, you teach people how to treat you. You train them to believe your energy requires no respect, that your kindness comes with no limits, that your loyalty costs nothing. And what costs nothing rarely gets valued. But this raises an uncomfortable question. If being endlessly available lowers your value, then what actually creates respect? This is something most people miss. Why do some people command attention the moment they enter a room, while others can give everything and still be overlooked? The answer has nothing to do with status, nothing to do with money, and everything to do with psychology. The psychology of respect. Respect isn't given because you're agreeable. Respect is earned through psychological signals. People respect emotional control. They respect certainty. They respect boundaries. They respect standards. Notice the calmest, strongest people you know. They rarely explain themselves. They don't seek permission to exist. They don't desperately try to be liked. They carry quiet certainty, and that certainty changes everything. Because when a person can say no without guilt, their yes becomes powerful. When their attention is selective, their presence becomes valuable. When they are emotionally self-sufficient, they become impossible to manipulate. This is why calm people often seem intimidating, not because they are aggressive, but because they don't need anything from anyone. And there is something deeply powerful about a person who is not controlled by the fear of losing approval. That kind of energy commands respect without demanding it. But most men don't understand this in theory. They understand it through pain, because some lessons can't be taught. They have to be lived. And for many men, the awakening begins the moment life breaks the illusion they spent years believing. And this is where everything changes. The transformation pain creates. Most men don't learn this through advice. They learn it through pain, through betrayal, through abandonment, through the moment they realize that all their effort, all their sacrifices, all their attempts to please everyone changed nothing. Maybe it was the relationship where you gave everything and still got replaced. Maybe it was the friendship where you were only valued when convenient. Maybe it was the moment you finally saw the truth. Being endlessly nice did not protect you. And pain has a strange way of revealing reality. It strips away illusion. It forces reflection. It creates transformation. This is when many men disappear. They stop explaining, stop chasing, stop proving. They become quiet, focused, intentional. They begin rebuilding. They work in silence. They strengthen their discipline, their standards, their self-respect. And when they return, their energy is different, heavier, calmer, untouchable. And suddenly, the same people who once ignored them begin paying attention. Because confidence forged through pain carries a presence that can't be faked. And if pain transforms a man, it also reveals something deeper. A truth most people spend their entire lives avoiding. Because after the silence, after the rebuilding, after the detachment, one final realization emerges, and it changes everything. The final truth. This isn't about becoming cold. It isn't about becoming selfish. It isn't about abandoning kindness. True kindness is powerful, but only when it comes from strength, never from fear. There is a profound difference between being kind and abandoning yourself for acceptance. Real confidence means helping others without needing validation, caring without becoming dependent, respecting others without betraying yourself. The strongest people are often the kindest, but their kindness has boundaries, it has standards, it has self-respect. Because real strength does not beg, it does not chase, it does not perform for approval. It simply exists, and that quiet certainty changes how the world responds to you. So if people have been taking your kindness for granted, ask yourself one honest question. Were you being kind, or were you afraid of disappointing them? Because the world does not reward self-abandonment. It rewards self-respect. And the moment you stop needing external validation, people feel it. In your silence, in your boundaries, in your presence. And maybe that's the hardest truth of all. The world does not respect you because you are nice. It respects you when you finally respect yourself. And if you've ever wondered why this keeps happening to you, then congratulations, you've found the answer. You will decide how the world will react to you from this moment onward. If this resonated with you, comment below. Respect starts within. And subscribe for more psychological truths most men learn too late.